Knowing you're good.
I clicked OK. So I believe,
Okay, we are rolling. Corey, yeah, thanks. Appreciate your brother making it happen this morning.
yes, sir. Absolutely. A little technical difficulties, but we're here. So
Hey,
that's all that
we
matters.
we powered through, and for anybody watching this, I got a weird background behind me. So I'm like a local Panera Bread because for whatever reason, I don't know if somebody hit a telephone pole or whatnot, but the internet's down in our entire local area, our kids' school and all that stuff. So I had to leave the house and hotspot the phone to my computer. So we're both making it happen. So I'm working a Panera drink here, so they know that I'm not just taking full advantage of them. So I'll be sipping every now and then.
Yes, sir.
Um, so yeah, brother, I appreciate you making it happen. Why don't you give us a little bit of your kind of background? Where are you coming from? Um, are you married? A little bit about who you are.
Born and raised in Tennessee. I am married. Was married in 2018. I have two beautiful kids, a son that just turned 4 in June, and a daughter that just turned 1 October 5th. Played back
Man,
in high school, so I played all sorts of sports growing up. And then played basketball in high school. And once basketball season ended my senior year, I was kind of like lost, like
mm,
just played some sort of competitive sport all my life and started like lifting weights after that. And I think at the end of basketball season, like my senior year, I was 165 pounds. And then by the time I graduated, which is about 2 or 3 months there, I weighed like 185 already.
oh wow, how tall are you?
I'm about six,
Okay, about what now?
about 6 foot.
6 foot. Okay, gotcha. All right,
Sure.
yeah, that's good. Man, one in four for the kids. How much is the 1 year old an easy 1 year old or a difficult 1 year old?
If I'm pairing them, she's much easier. He was born in 2020 of June of
Mm,
2020, like in the midst of COVID. So
hmm
we did not leave the house. We didn't get him out much, then. I mean, I wouldn't say but we were afraid of it, as parents, but we didn't want him.
hmm
So he was very much a sheltered baby. I think had some colic in there. He was very difficult. And honestly, I would have been fine to stop there of how difficult he was. Can't hold that against him. But our second, she was complete opposite. She's a great baby, done great, and she sleeps pretty good. The 4-year old's still sleeping in our bed with us, so he's probably the reason for more lost sleep than she is.
Man, I tell you what, anything revolving around the word colic just sends a shudder down my spine.
I had PTSD from it for sure. It was you want to do anything you can to help them, but you don't know what to do. I mean, there isn't much you can do, and they just cry nonstop.
Nonstop. They're not even, you can't console them in any way, shape, or form.
Very, very tough as a parent. And anybody out there, that's went through it, I'm sure can relate. Anybody that hasn't, good for you. I'm happy.
Good for you. Good for you, exactly. Luckily for us, it was our final child, our daughter, our third child that had colic. I think if our first one did, I don't know if I could have got back in the game. So my hat's off to you, man.
Oh, that's the way I was. Like I always planned, but after that first one, like my wife had to do some convincing. I was like, I don't know. And it being your first one, like you think that's just how it is. Like this is what being a parent's like. Like you don't know any different. So you're like, wow, having a kid is super tough. But we had the second one, and I'm like, oh wow, this is really nice. Like I wish I started to say I wish the first one was like that, but then again,
Right.
this would have rocked my world if it was.
Oh man, that's fantastic. And when we were chatting, trying to figure out the Zoom, get it working this morning, you said your previous occupation was at a bank. What was that all about? How long did you do that?
Well, if I'm just gonna go back kind of from the beginning, my grandpa owns a funeral home here in town. So I started working there in the summers of right after I graduated 8th grade, so 2005. I worked there every summer growing up. I worked outside, like setting up the tents at the cemeteries and shoveling the dirt
I was
piles.
gonna say, man, is that spooky for a kid who's just graduated 8th grade to be working in the funeral home?
I mean, not really to me. I don't want to get too graphic for anybody, but like you don't
Sure,
see
sure.
there, so uh, you're just. I think there's less involvement with it since you're not seeing anything. Like, because by the time they're at the cemetery, everything's sealed and everything, so it's not that bad. I mean, it didn't bother me too much, and they owned that funeral home all my life, so I played in the parking lot, growing up when I was 6 years
Okay.
old, around. So I mean, I don't know. I guess just growing up around it, just kind of a different mentality with it.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess there could be some fun aspects of it too as well when you're, post eighth grade and getting to do all that stuff.
Yes, sir. I don't want to make it sound like it's a glamorous thing by
Right.
any
Right.
because heartbreaks that go on there, but I would say growing up around it was definitely different for me. So I not quite as connected or scare me. Some people have like an anxiety for there, but it didn't really happen with me.
Uh-huh. And what eventually, got you? What was your role when you made it to the bank?
So I worked at the funeral home. I actually went to college 2009 through 2013, got a degree in business, went back to the funeral home, and my grandpa and dad both work there. And my grandpa's always wanted me to work inside. They work inside. And where I started working outside, I fell in love with like the physical work, the labor. I worked outside, set up tents. You're driving stakes into. I love that, mowing the cemeteries, things like that. And I actually went back there after college and kept working outside. And then in or outside, and then in 2019, I started at a bank here in town as like a teller, and I was opening accounts and stuff, handling CDs, anything you need. And then in 2022, I now work. It's called Bonnell Aluminum. We're an aluminum extruder, and I've been working here since then.
So at the bank, do you get any training as to what to do if there's a bank robbery in progress?
You definitely do. I mean, there's don't want to give away too many of their secrets, but
Right.
there, like there's panic buttons like you'd see at restaurants or something you could hit, and there's definitely procedures we have to do. I mean, to be honest, most of the time they just tell you to comply. I mean, your life isn't worth
Right, right.
anything, so they tell you just do as you're told mostly, and there are like I said, a panic button in place and stuff, but you don't. If somebody were to know about that, then you definitely don't want to get caught pushing that or something that could result in something that nobody wants.
Did you ever have any unsavory characters wandering in that made everyone nervous?
Oh, absolutely. We're pretty sure we had some people come in and use the bathroom and do, extracurricular things in there on the counter,
Okay. Okay.
perks on the counter and stuff like. And there were some customers that would get upset, and being in a bank setting, with a lot at stake, if someone was getting upset, you always got a hair nervous because you never know what they could do or something. So you're definitely on edge and watch people a lot and pay attention to the little things.
So you said now you work for a company that, did you say is extruded aluminum?
Yes, sir. We
What does that mean?
so extruded aluminum like starts out as like a big billet. Aluminum comes in as like this huge like cylindrical. We almost compare it to like a gun. Like you take the cylinder and you load it into the gun like the barrel, and a big press comes and pushes it through, essentially like a stencil. Like it's heated up and you push it through that stencil, and like we're used for like architectural things and like canopies and sunshades and things like that. Like we do like aluminum decking. We can paint and anodize and do things like that. It's almost like Play-Doh going through a stencil. Like that big cylinder will heat it up and everything. Use a big
Interesting.
to push it through. It is pretty interesting.
And what's your role there?
I handle customer accounts, like customer service.
Okay. Okay.
I have a
Interesting.
area, and we serve people all over the United States. I even got a few customers in Canada, actually.
Oh, no kid. Okay. So that's cool. You get yourself a couple kids there. So where are you finding time to work out, and where are you working out? Is it in the garage? Is it the backyard? When does it happen for you with, a job and two kids?
It's a mix. When I worked at the funeral home, we had to get there about 5:45 in the mornings. So I was used to waking up at about 4:30. So when I started at the bank, when I worked at the funeral home, I would work out after work. We would usually get off about 3 where we went in so early, so I
Yeah,
would
makes
work
sense.
after work. And then I was at the bank by the time I had my kids, but where I was used to waking up at 4:30 at the funeral home, I just kept waking up at 4:30 at the bank. I would work before work.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yes, sir. So I was working out about 5 to 6 in the morning. I'd wake up at 4:30, work out from 5 to 6. I have a garage gym here at home. Got, I would say, enough, essentials like pull up bar, squat rack, bumper plates, a bar, sandbag, kettlebell, like, enough to be dangerous, but I wouldn't say it's the most elaborate home gym you've ever seen. And
Now, in the morning, do you have any drama? I guess people are just different. Maybe that works for you and you don't know any different or don't have a choice. You prefer, but like some people find it really tough to get going in the morning, to bring a little bit of heat or to like get under a heavy barbell. Do you struggle with that or is it not an issue?
well, now since the second kid, I actually work a lunch break every day because
Okay.
we actually have a gym on campus at our workplace. So I work out at lunch every day. But
Oh,
when I,
that's cool.
yeah, it's really nice. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite things about working there. Like it's a really nice gym. Like they have Rogue equipment. I mean, they have an air runner. Nice.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Man, they're into aluminum and fitness.
I'm sure they got a nice, some kind of break on their health insurance for providing a gym, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, and well, it sounds like they did it right. Do they have like a barbell and bumpers or just machines?
They have a barbell and bumpers. Yes, sir.
No kidding, man. So you can get everything you need done there and you don't have to get up at, 4 or 5 a.m.
Yes, sir. I still on the weekends, like Saturday workouts, work out in my home gym in the garage. And, like today I work from home. We get to work from home one day a week. And so I'll work out at home today. So I get the best of both worlds.
And have you dragged any buddies at work into your crazy fitness stuff?
I definitely get some odd stares. I mean, as far as I know, I'm one of the only ones that does CrossFit there. And so people will definitely watch you and they're interested. And there was one day we had a I believe it was a ruck march, or maybe it was like run for 45 minutes. And I went
Yeah, I think it was an option. Yeah.
and just did a ruck march. And I was going around. We have about a 60-acre campus or like facilities,
Oh,
and
wow.
fields all around us. And I was like running through the hay fields. And I actually got in trouble because like HR was like, "Hey, he doesn't need to, like, if he rolls his ankle and that, we'll probably be." And I was like, it was a pretty day outside, and I just hated to, do it on a treadmill or something. And I was like, I'm just gonna go run the hay fields. And
Yeah, come on, HR. I'm trying to be an active fit one of your employees here. Help me out, man.
exactly, exactly. You got a lot of people that just drive by that gym every day and don't use it. And here I am trying to be proactive and got in trouble for it.
And what about that's the fitness side. People can see what you're doing, you're moving your body and all that. What about the nutrition side of the house? Are you packing a lunch to work? Do you get roped into, going out for some stuff that might not move the needle in the place that you want? Do people see you eating different stuff? What's that like at work?
When I worked at the bank, we had a kitchen, and we don't really have a kitchen here. So, like at the bank, I would take just mostly like sandwich stuff and eat at the bank every day. And when I first started at Bonnell, I was just like eating out every day because like they didn't have a kitchen. And I didn't know what to do, and uh, they had like a microwave and a fridge, but I was keeping mostly sandwich meats, and like it was just harder at Bonnell because, like I said, it's not a kitchen; it's almost like out in the hallway. So it felt weird, like making a sandwich just out in the hall.
Yeah.
So I was eating out every day, and I got to looking at like my bank statement. And I'm like, holy cow, how much I'm spending on eating out.
100%, man. It's crazy.
It is. And like you don't notice it, like $8, $10 here, but like $10 5 days a week is $50 a week. I was like, and that's on the cheaper side, if you ask me nowadays.
You do the math for a month and then for a year. You do the math for a year. It's staggering.
Yes, sir. So I started meal prep and I'm meal prepping now, and I usually try to cook on like Saturday. I try to cook at least 5 meals, if not more, for the week, and I freeze them and then take them and heat them up in the microwave every day now.
Good for you, man. I'm so impressed by that. That's so huge. I mean, it takes time away from your free time, which I'm sure you'd rather spend, when you don't have to be at work, you probably don't want to spend it meal prepping. But man, to do that, to be that dedicated to your actual long-term health and fitness, that is tremendous. What do you generally prep for those meals, and how long does it take to prep them?
I usually rotate between 93.7 ground beef, like lean ground beef. I buy like a big 3 pound like roll of it. And then I rotate between that and chicken, like chicken breast. I'll like dice it up and season it, buffalo, different things. I'm a big veggie guy. I don't like fruits a ton. I'm not a big sweet eater. I don't just
God bless you. I wish I wasn't a sweet eater.
I just never had a big sweet tooth. I don't really care for like milk chocolate. I like dark chocolate, but so I was doing rice, but then I was like, I'm gonna cut down on carbs, so I just started doing like veggies and meat. So it's like I might throw some peppers and onions in with the beef and season it with taco, make it like a fajita type thing, or I might throw like some stir fry veggies in with the chicken and season it with some soy sauce and stuff. And like that's plenty for me. I love something like that.
Man, dude, you're winning on so many levels. I mean, not only I'm sure just the macronutrient breakdown percentage wise of the meals that you're eating, but then, like you said, the cost savings as well from you buying food at the grocery store, prepping yourself versus going out to eat, and then, just athletic performance. I mean, that's such a huge win. It's funny, my wife and I were just talking that like we need to start doing like a meal prep Sunday, with a few kids and work, things are always busy. We're always scrambling. It's like, I don't know, we didn't plan anything for dinner tonight. Let's pull something out of the freezer. Nothing's thought out. Oh my goodness. Like we got to get a better system where we just dedicate some time on Sundays. And then we're just pulling something out of the fridge every day, and you're doing it. So I think that's huge, man. I hope people kind of follow in your footsteps on that.
One thing that's helped me personally is, that's quite a bit of beef and chicken. Like 3 pounds of beef is a big old roll. So I utilize my Blackstone a lot. Just get that out like that way because we don't have a pan in here that could accommodate 3 pounds of chicken or 3 pounds of beef or chicken at one time. So like I kind of had to rotate it. And don't get me wrong, it's about to be winter time, so I'll have to cook inside. But definitely takes longer inside. But heating up the Blackstone, you can throw it all on there at once. So I can boom,
Now,
definitely
I've
process.
seen those things online. I've seen the Blackstone, I believe might be just a brand in and of itself. And then I've also seen people look like they can get almost like that similar sort of frying surface to put on their regular grill or whatnot. Do you have one that you just put on a regular grill, or did you buy like that specific Blackstone thing?
My wife bought a Blackstone for me for Christmas in 2020, 2021.
Okay.
And
And
it
you
is
would give it two thumbs up?
absolutely, especially for like, high volume cooking, like cooking a lot at a time on a kid's birthday party. We'll have just inviting our family alone. It's like 35 people. So you can knock out some burgers real quick. I forgot what size mine is, but I think it's probably 3 foot wide, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
I think you can put like about 20 burgers on it at once, something like that. It's crazy how
Uh,
fast and easy it is.
what part of Tennessee are you in?
Well, I think I would preface by saying how I come across CrossFit. Uh, there was like TVs in our fitness center where I went to college, and I was walking past one. It was August 2011, and I looked up at one of the TVs, and it says, "Congrats to our own Rich Froning for winning the 2011 CrossFit Games." I'm like, "Who is that? And what is that?" Like, I didn't
Right.
know either of those existed. So started doing a little like research. I was interested. I was like, "Wow, someone won something big here. Like, pretty cool. Like, so let's see what it is." And like, I was looking at it, and another type of working out. Like, I already lift weights, so I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I was very intrigued, but at the same time, good with where I was at. I was doing like you've mentioned before, like chest, legs, bis, trials. Like I was
Sure.
working out at that time, so I was content where I was at. Very cool watching what they did. But I was like, I'm gonna stay where I'm at. And then
So
I moved.
something must have flipped the switch in your mind.
Well, I moved back home after I graduated college in 2013. I watched Rich win the 2012 and 2013 games. Like I was watching the CrossFit games and like kind of keeping up with it. And having come from, working out, I knew what they were doing was crazy impressive. Like I knew I couldn't do it. Like I wasn't watching it and being like, wow, I could do that.
Hmm.
I knew the skill and strength of what they were doing took. So like that's why I was very intrigued. But after I graduated college in 2013, I moved back home and we didn't have a CrossFit gym. Of course, you had Mayhem, but it's about 30 minutes away. So,
Gotcha.
or each day, like I was working at the funeral home, like just kind of wasn't in the cars, the gas and everything, driving a truck. But so we had a gym in town. It was very like iron, weights, like just so I kept up the buys, tries, things like that.
Still
But
lifting, man. It's still, still moving the needle.
absolutely. But I was just always intrigued. Like I
Mm.
very curious. And so in 2016, got announced there was a CrossFit gym coming to our town. This guy was opening up a gym, and I was like, oh, okay. Because I really wanted to get into it. But like I said, not that I had ever done a thruster, but I just knew like, wow, that like I don't think I could just learn that. Like I would like someone
Mm.
to teach me how to do that. And so once that gym opened up, I joined and I was like, I would love to learn how to do this, but I need a coach. Like I don't really want to
Right.
learn it on my own.
And did you wind up, you know, hooking up with that gym for a while?
I did, yes, sir. I started there in 2016 and went there for about a year and a half. They had some complications where they were located. Uh, there had a dispute with the rent, so they had to relocate somewhere else, and it was a little further away from my house. And then like this bluff caved, so it made the trip to the gym even longer, and they lost quite a few members. And long story short, they only stayed open about a year and a half.
Okay.
But by then, another gym had opened up, but they didn't offer like courses, but they had all the CrossFit gear. So I started going there because I'd learned the ropes, and had a coach and been taught everything by then. I was by no means heading to the games or anything, but you know,
Sure.
thrusters and stuff. Like I was probably at my peak fitness during that time because I worked at the funeral home, walking all day, swinging
Mm.
sledgehammer,
Active all day long too.
then went to CrossFit, and it was just I weighed about probably 205 and could back squat probably 365. Snatching like 205, and just that was probably peak fitness for me. But my diet
Pre
was
pre kids.
yes, sir. That very, very good point. And when considering how your fitness has changed throughout the years, you got to take that into account. Not be
Yeah,
hard on yourself because it definitely changes the whole aspect of working out.
100%. What made you shift from that to now working out at home?
Um, I was having a tough time. Well, when I first started working out at that new gym that didn't have the coach anymore, that the one with the coach had closed down in like I think mid 2017. And I got married in 2018. I had some friends that would come work out with me. And I was kind of the programmer. Like we would look at CrossFit Linchpin Instagram, Mayhem Instagram, CrossFit.com website, and I would be like, all right, here's what we're gonna do, today. And we would
Very cool.
really pick out one of those and all three do it together. And having somebody there definitely helped.
Sure.
You want to beat them or you want to, they're pushing you, words of encouragement, like it definitely helps. But then COVID hit and everything. And that's when I started working out at home and really stocking up on my home gym. And
Mm.
I think in 2020 is when I started Linchpin, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Maybe in
Okay.
20, not positive on that.
Yeah, I checked this morning. me right now. Let's see. Put it on the screen.
I was like, it was
January of 2021.
2021. Okay. Yeah.
So you are January 2025 is not that far away. So you're about to hit 4 years.
Yes, sir.
That's some serious dedication, man.
Well, watching, being intrigued with CrossFit from afar, uh, I followed CrossFit Linchpin on Instagram. Like, I was probably since 2016, like just getting ideas. Once I got into CrossFit,
Okay.
I've watched, Froning the movie, so like I knew who you were and everything, and I love your outlook on CrossFit. Like, just have fun, do your best. It's a long term goal. Like, it's just very, just like before this interview, you're like, it's low pressure, man. Like, that's low
Oh
pressure.
yeah.
I do it to, be the best version of myself. And once you have kids, you definitely want to be healthy for them, be a good role model, and
100%.
take care of them as long as you can and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in this game for a bit, and sadly, a story that I hear far too common. If I just bump into somebody, I don't know, at the airport or wherever, like somehow CrossFit comes up, like I'm always shocked by how many people are like, "Oh yeah, yeah, CrossFit." Like I did that for a while, but I hear that all the time. It's did it for a while, seemed to work good, got burnt out, lost interest, whatever, tweaked my back. Like there's always some thing that's not like it's a rare story that I bump into somebody. They're like, oh, yeah, CrossFit. I've been doing that consistently for 5 years. Great. Like I like it's really sad to me, but I don't hear that story as frequently as I heard that, oh yeah, or my brother-in-law did it for a while and now he doesn't. Did this, now I don't. And I'm just like, man, there's gotta, I don't think there's another methodology that works better than CrossFit. And like, so now finding a way to make it sustainable. So if I check in with somebody 5 or 10 years later, they report that, yeah, I'm still doing it, fit, fast, and strong, knees, back, and shoulders feel great. Let's do another 5 years. Like that's the story that I want to help people um, promote because I hear the other one just far too often, man, like all the time.
I don't know how. I mean, personally for me, doing buys and tries and chest like got old. I mean, this
Hmm.
you can not do the same workout for a very long time. Every day is different. And I mean,
Yes.
really helped when I joined Linchpin. Like you say all the time, you program stuff. Like I wouldn't program for myself. 100 V ups and total runs the other day. No, thank you. But I did it. And just knowing that you're part of a community and a ton of other people did that workout that day that didn't want to, just is very cool. And like, especially in 2020, all COVID going around, like working out from home was an adjustment. Cause like I said, I always worked out with friends or in a class. Now I'm working out at home, but just following your programming, like you have a warm up for me. I mean, no, it sounds weird. It just felt like very personal. Like, hey, I wrote this for you. Like the everyday CrossFitter just trying to do better, trying to stay fit.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, good things are going to happen for you. I mean, just based upon getting to know you over the last 30, 40 minutes here. I mean, the fact that you've got the discipline to work out with two kids and a job, which a lot of Americans just decide that's too much. So you're already different right there, period, end of story. And then you've got the discipline to meal prep. Now you're even an even more elite category of people. And then you've got the discipline and the understanding, the strength and conditioning IQ to realize uh, there are workouts that are going to pop up that might not be what I would love to do today, but I understand that getting outside of my comfort zone is a good thing, and I'm going to do it anyway. Like all those things combined together, I'm not shocked that you've been sticking with it for as long as you have, and I would expect good things to happen. I mean, it's just you're laying those bricks, man, stacking those bricks of fitness every single solitary day, and that consistency, it's exactly what I'm talking about. Like finding a way to make it consistent for people, and you're doing it. So, Corey, I think you're crushing it, brother. To be honest with you.
Well, I appreciate that, but I mean, I got to give it right back to you. Give you your flowers. Like for $10 a month, I could go buy McDonald's, or I could get a full, program warm up every day. Like couldn't do it without that. Like the community here is great, and it's just I've taken a step back and like because when I worked out at that gym, I was very much, being around people too. You're like, I'm doing the prescribed weight, I'm doing this. Like, I had
Oh,
to take
yeah.
a step back working out from home and be like, all right, we're going to go lighter. We're going to do the right form. We're going to do strict pull ups. Like, just you've given us the tools watching your daily videos. Oh man, you do a great
Well,
job. Yeah.
I appreciate that. We're very lucky. We've got, I don't know how we pulled it off, but we've got literally a group of people from around the world that are just, I feel like we just steal all the good people. I don't know how we do it, but I'm super stoked on that. Well, I guess kind of in closing, what would be your, you've been active your whole life, you've done a whole bunch of different stuff, you've got a busy life. What would be your advice or recommendation to maybe another parent or somebody else grinding away at a job, let their fitness slide in a direction they're not happy with? They'd like to get it back on track, but it seems a bit overwhelming. What would be your, maybe one of your coworkers works up, you're like, man, you've been inspiring me every day, but where do I even start? What would you say?
Well, I would definitely recommend Linchpin, something like that. $10 a month, warm up. Like you give us all the tools we need. But in terms of just being a parent and getting in the gym, I definitely did have that guilt, especially when my babies were very small, like leaving my wife and they're
Mm,
1 week old. But I read something somewhere, maybe on Instagram, and it said something along the lines of anything you do for your health and fitness, like, isn't selfish because it's for your family. It's not just for you, like it's for them too. So like you've got to invest in that too. It's for them as well. And like you can't think of it as, wow, I'm out here in the gym when my wife's in there with their baby. Well, yeah, I mean, but you're trying to become the best parent you can be, you know. When my kids are older and I'm 50 and my kid wants to go play catch, I don't want to be like, well, I can't, and just physically unable to. So, I mean, it's not selfish to take care of yourself and invest some time into your fitness and health.
I could not agree more. How old are you right now?
I'm 33.
33. Okay. I
Yes, sir.
will be I will be 50 next year. And I got a daughter that's almost three and a half. And we got a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. And I do the math. I'm like, okay, she's three and a half. How old am I going to be when she's 13? How old am I going to be when she's 15 or 20? And what do I want to be able to do at that age if she wants to go on a hike, if she wants to do whatever? Like, I want to be able to say yes to anything that comes my way. And that's why I walk into the gym every day. So I think your mindset is spot on, brother, like 100%. But man, I appreciate you. Thanks for your time this morning. Thanks for dealing with the technical stuff that we had going on. We'll try to splice this thing together and make it a nice smooth video. And yeah, man, my best to you and your family, Corey. Thank you for doing this.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you, Coach Pat.
All right, man. We'll see you online.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.